Do you have a teaching preference? Is this preference the same as your learning preference? Do you feel that learning preference is important in students' achievements? Do you believe that you can cater for a wide range of preferences in your classroom? Let's explore how preference-responsive teaching can be practiced in your learning environment and improve outcomes for all your learners without planning lessons for individual students. Preference-responsive pedagogy refers to teaching and learning processes that caters for students' preferred learning styles and modalities. This approach empowers teachers to support students' preferred modality of learning in a way that allows them to grow and achieve learning independence. This will involve listening to students, observing students carefully, and making professional judgments as to where students need to get to and the best instructional medium and learning activities that will assist in getting them there. Using preference-responsive teaching and learning also nurture and develop independent learners through utilizing students' preference and strengths as motivators to their learning success. We have examined students' learning from group demographics of culture, social era, and gender. Although these provides significant markers and aspects of framing students' development, one of the best ways of catering for students' learning is exploring how all these factors are applicable to individuals and finding out what will truly intrigue a learner to take up the challenge of becoming immersed in the world of learning. Preference-responsive teaching allows teachers the privilege to decipher and implement the instructional approach and learning activities that will achieve curiosity and true learning and retention in individual students. When considering preference-responsive teaching and learning, some questions to ask are: what activities engages and intrigues individuals in your classroom? What are their interests? What are their personal learning styles? What things are relevant to them? What instructional approach works best for concept acquisition? How do they best consolidate the knowledge and apply it? Using preference-responsive teaching and learning, where you capitalize on students' interest and preference in learning, opens a new world of opportunity to teach students things that no other route or modality of learning can. Students have specific ways with which they learn best. How can these preferences be incorporated in your subject and consistently be used in your lesson and in your pedagogy to buy in students into their learning experiences? Using preference-responsive teaching builds relationship between students and teachers and fosters trust. It increases students' self-confidence and gives them a more balanced insight into their strengths and weaknesses. It enables teachers to enrich students' learning experiences and unlock latent potential that would not be reached with other instructional approaches. Additionally, it teaches students how to best use their brains and enable them to enjoy the learning process. Students learning in their preferred modality are more curious and motivated learner. When students are allowed to learn in their way, they can take advantage of their natural skills and inclinations, and this assists them in overcoming some of the barriers to their learning that other instructional approaches created. Preferred modality of learning reduces the stress and frustration of the learning experiences and expands students' learning capacity, which gives them an added advantage at maximizing their learning potentials. Provide students with uncommon learning experiences through using a variety of instructional approaches and learning styles. Incorporate learning opportunities from cross-curricular areas into the teaching. Use current affairs information to develop aspects of the learning. Incorporate fun and functionality in learning to get students more interested in what they are learning. Allow students to talk about their learning with each other in pairs or small groups, as well as to think about their learning independently. Use a range of sources for your learning resources and a variety of activities. Utilize things from cultural, gender, and social responsive teaching approaches, and use information from your personal knowledge of students. It could be as simple as using their names in questions that you have generated, or adapting questions to put their names in. It could be using colors that students like and their preferred font styles, as well as contexts and scenarios that they would be able to relate to collectively, in small groups, or individually. Students face many barriers to learning, barriers that can often be removed with specific, targeted, and quality in-class interventions through quality-first teaching. It is the teacher's role to remove as much of these barriers as possible to give students the greatest chance at maximizing their learning potentials. Exploring various modalities of learning, and especially those that are preferred by students, goes a far way in beginning to meet their learning needs. Preference responsive teaching seeks to broaden students' learning experiences and enhance their achievement through personalization. How could this be incorporated into your pedagogical approach to enhance teaching and learning in your classroom?